Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, January 8th. Sorry if I'm sounding a little nasally here today. The colds they have been passing through. Just about everybody I know has been dealing with colds. So 'tis the season, right? But this is a very exciting show for me personally. I love draft season. I absolutely love it. I love the NFL draft. I love scouting all these prospects. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have met with NFL draft candidate wide receiver Roc Taylor out of Memphis, per Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network. So we've got a prospect to talk about here. We have got a prospect that the Jacksonville Jaguars are showing interest in. He's 6'3". He's 215 pounds. He's attending the Hula Bowl, which is where the Jaguars and several other teams caught up with him and met with him and, again, showed some interest. So we're going to talk about Roc Taylor, wide receiver out of Memphis, here today. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel further, you can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear, like the hat I am wearing right now. So, again, Roc Taylor is 6'3", 215 pounds, attending the Hula Bowl. So the Hula Bowl is kind of the it's the third All-Star game, if you will, right? Like, it's clearly behind East-West Shrine Game. It's clearly behind the Senior Bowl as well. Those are kind of the premier events. Senior Bowl has got some unbelievable names coming this year. But 6'3", 215 pounds. In 2024, he had 67 catches for Memphis, 954 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of production there. In 2023, 68 catches for 1,083 yards and 6 touchdowns. So he has been extremely productive over the last couple years for the Memphis Tigers. And over that span, these last 2 seasons, he has a drop rate of about 5%, which is excellent. That's a very focused pass catcher, somebody you feel like you can rely on when you throw them the football. Contested catch rate over the last 2 seasons of 64%. That's incredible. That shows his ability to have body control, focus, go up and get the football in tight situations. But again, going back to the drop rate, that makes you feel good as well because he also catches the easy ones. So when you have a receiver that doesn't have focus drops, he doesn't miss easy ones, and he also goes up and gets the difficult catches, that is a really nice combination to have. He also has 27 forced missed tackles over the last 2 seasons. A lot more in 2023 than in 2024, but this is a guy that, with his frame, he can make you miss. He can run through arm tackles, and he's a lot bigger than most of the DBs he's going up against. He aligned almost exclusively outside at Memphis, very few slot reps. So that doesn't mean he can't do that, but it means we haven't seen it much on tape at all. A little background story on him. He was originally a 3-star recruit who committed to Tennessee. They backed out on signing day. Tennessee did, which was absolutely brutal for him. Committed to Memphis, was there his entire college career, and now he has an opportunity to make it to the NFL, and I think Tennessee would have liked to have had his services over the last several years. So, at 6'3", 215 pounds, you might be like, is there any similarities to Brian Thomas Jr.? He is not the speedster that Brian Thomas Jr. is. Nobody is. Brian Thomas is 6'3", 210 pounds and runs like the wind. That's an insanely rare athlete right there. I would say that, Taylor has more of a thickly built frame, very sturdy, but there is some juice there. Like you see moments where he can turn on the jets and he can run past some people. Like I said, super big physical frame, can go up and get the football, tracks the ball very well down the field, and can adjust to maybe not the best ball placement, right? As Murray's running in here, having a good time. We're going to continue talking about Roc Taylor, what he brings to the field, where I would value him, his fit with the Jaguars. First, got to remind you all about Underdog Fantasy. They are sponsoring the show. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code DuvalDaily, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Maybe you think Justin Herbert or C.J. Stroud will pop off in the first game of the playoffs. You make the call at Underdog Fantasy. Promo code DuvalDaily. to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus Massachusetts and Arizona, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply, void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT STEP, that's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So Roc Taylor, getting back to this guy. At his size, he really, I don't think he has the most fluid hips, right? Or the quickest feet. But there's not a lot of wasted movement. There's not a lot of false steps. Whether you're talking about, sorry, Murray's trying to come hang out. Say hi, little derpy girl. There's not a lot of false steps, again, with his release package, getting off the line of scrimmage. And there's also not much wasted movement getting in and out of breaks. Like, you go break it down and slow down the tape and you watch his feet, there's no extra steps. There's no false steps, no wasted movement. So I think that that's impressive for him. A lot of guys that are his size, 6'3", 215, when they're on an out-breaking route or an in-breaking route, you see extra steps. You see that it's difficult for them to turn and run. Not for Roc Taylor. He releases off the line well, no false steps. He does have a little bit of wiggle to him with the ball in his hands, evidenced by that 27 forced missed tackles the last couple years, and he can break tackles as well. Like, he's going up against a 190-pound, 185-pound corner. Good luck bringing him down, right? The route tree was actually fairly expansive. You saw a lot of out-breaking stuff, in-breaking. You saw not necessarily a ton of double moves, but you did see slant and go. You see, hitch and go. You see corner routes. You see screens, slants. There's a lot. There's a lot there for Roc Taylor. It's not like he was running a couple routes in college. I think the real, maybe only limiting factor about his projection, how explosive is he? To me, my best guess would be he's running in the 4.5s. Again, not the loosest hips or the quickest feet. So that's my big question there. But you can see he understands where the soft spot is against zone coverage. You can see that he has enough athleticism at his size and with his route running ability to be effective. And I love, he will block. And at 6'3", 215 pounds, when you have somebody that is as willing and eager to block as Roc Taylor is, you see moments where he launches DBs. And that's a lot of fun. And so you get a guy out there that will block on screens, that will block on run plays, and that can really help your offense. That utility is very helpful, especially for someone who he's not going to be a high draft pick. He's just not. So all the different value you can add to your football team. With wide receiver classes being as deep as they are, that's just how it goes in the modern game. Always deep wide receiver classes. He's definitely either going to be a day 3 or undrafted player. I would bank on that unless he like runs in the 4.4s. Which I wouldn't be shocked. Again, I would project 4.5s, but there's moments where I'm like, this guy is absolutely flying. I think he's going to run in the 4.5s. I think he's going to be day 3 or undrafted. I would certainly take a flyer on him, probably anywhere from the 5th to 7th round. And I will have a 5th round grade on him at this point. I've watched him in a couple games against Tulane, against West Virginia, and against Missouri in 2023. I'm impressed. I really am impressed with what I've seen overall. Again, I don't know that he's going to be an elite separator against man coverage because I don't think he's got great overall athleticism, wiggle, fluidity. But at his size, with his athleticism, with his soft hands, and with his ability to go up and get contested catches and no wasted movements in his routes, I think he's a guy that can make a roster. And I think he could potentially be a role player at the next level. For the Jaguars specifically, he would just be competing to improve depth at this point. I don't know what will happen with Christian Kirk, but you have Brian Thomas Jr., obviously, as your number one. Gabe Davis, in all likelihood, is going to be in Jacksonville again next year, especially with Trent Baalke returning as GM. It doesn't make sense to move on from Gabe Davis from a cap standpoint. They would need to wait till next year to do that. And, if Gabe Davis is healthier this offseason and if he's able to come in and really commit to being the best he can be, he could have a better year than he did this year. I will say that. Parker Washington has kind of started to establish himself as well, so he'll be in the mix. Just don't know what's going to happen with Christian Kirk, really. Trent Baalke signed him, so he's the one that brought Christian Kirk in. Maybe Christian Kirk sticks around in Jacksonville, and I would have no problem with that because I think he's a really good football player. But again, with Roc Taylor, I think he would be fighting for a spot behind that group. And again, his blocking ability would be critical in that, and he would have to prove that he can get the job done on special teams as well, which I don't see any reason he wouldn't be able to. But that's something you have to really work at. And looking at Roc Taylor on special teams, not a ton of work. Hasn't done much kick coverage, punt coverage, any of that stuff. So he'll have to prove that he can do that wherever he lands. And there's some teams interested in him, according to Ryan Fowler. Some teams that have met with him, including the Jacksonville Jaguars. Really excited to talk about prospects in depth here on the channel with y'all and continue to work through this offseason. I know Trent Baalke's still around, and that's not what most folks want, not what I thought the Jaguars should do. But that's the world we're in right now. So Trent Baalke, Jacksonville Jaguars, they have shown a little bit of interest here in Roc Taylor out of Memphis, 6'3", 215-pound wide receiver, very productive. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content here, please like and subscribe. Don't forget, you can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear, become a channel member here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one.